Candy isn't just about sugar, it's about memories. For generations of kids, certain candies weren't just a sweet treat, they were a part of growing up. Whether it was unwrapping something shiny after school or trading at lunch with friends, these candies shaped the culture of childhood. But not all of them survived. Some were discontinued due to changing tastes, rising costs, or corporate decisions. Others just faded away quietly, leaving behind a trail of nostalgia. In this documentary, we'll explore 10 classic American candies that disappeared, each one with its own story. Its rise to popularity, and the bittersweet reason it's no longer with us. If you grew up in the 70s, 80s, or 90s, this video may bring back memories of flavors you thought you'd never taste again. 1. BarNone, introduced by Hershey in 1987. BarNone was a unique candy bar that stood out from the rest. It featured chocolate wafers, a layer of chocolate cream, peanuts, and a coating of milk chocolate. It was marketed as a bar that could satisfy chocolate lovers to the max, and for a time, it did just that. BarNone developed a loyal fan base, especially among those who loved wafer-style candies like Kit Kat but wanted something richer. However, by the mid-1990s, sales began to decline. Some blamed poor marketing, while others thought Hershey's lineup had too many competing chocolate bars. By 1997, BarNone was discontinued in the U.S., though it survived briefly overseas. Fans have long campaigned for its return, and while smaller candy companies have tried to recreate it, the original BarNone remains a lost treasure of chocolate history. 2. Marathon Bar. In 1973, Mars introduced the Marathon Bar, instantly recognizable for its braided caramel covered in milk chocolate. At a whopping 8 inches long, the bar was designed to last longer than other candies, hence the name Marathon. Its bright red wrapper even featured a ruler to show off its length. For kids of the 70s, it was a candy and a novelty rolled into one. Eating a Marathon bar was a chewy, sticky challenge, but that was part of its charm. Unfortunately, by 1981, the bar was discontinued in the United States, though a similar product called Curly Wurly remained available in the UK under Cadbury. Today, the Marathon Bar is remembered fondly as one of the most unique candies of its time. True example of how candy could be both fun and flavorful. 3. PB Max. Released in 1989 by Mars, PB Max was a peanut butter lover's dream. It combined a thick layer of creamy peanut butter with oats, a cookie base, and a milk chocolate coating. Unlike Reese's, PB Max emphasized the richness of peanut butter in a crunchy, hearty format. It quickly gained popularity and became a top-selling candy bar in the early 90s. So why did it vanish? Surprisingly, reports suggest that Mars executives themselves weren't too fond of peanut butter and decided to discontinue PB Max in 1994 despite its success. This baffling decision left fans stunned, and PB Max became one of the most lamented candy losses of the 90s. Even today, candy enthusiasts rank PB Max as one of the greatest discontinued treats, proving that sometimes business decisions don't align with consumer love. 4. Bonkers. Launched by Nabisco in the mid-1980s, Bonkers were fruit chews that looked like ordinary candy on the outside but had a fruity filling inside. They came in flavors like grape, strawberry, and watermelon, and their commercials were just as bold as the candy itself, featuring people laughing uncontrollably after eating Bonkers. Kids loved the intense fruity taste and fun texture. For a few years, Bonkers seemed poised to compete with big names like Starburst. However, as the 90s began, sales declined. Competition in the fruit chew market was fierce, and Nabisco eventually discontinued the candy, although smaller companies have tried to revive Bonkers. Since then, none have fully captured the magic of the original. Today, Bonkers are remembered as one of the quirkiest and most fun candies of the 80s. 5. Planters Peanut Butter Bar. Most people know Planters for their peanuts, but in the 1980s, they also released the Planters Peanut Butter Bar. It was a crunchy, nutty candy bar made with roasted peanuts and creamy peanut butter, covered in chocolate. Fans loved its bold peanut flavor and satisfying crunch. Unlike many candy bars that emphasize sweetness, this one leaned heavily into its nutty identity. Unfortunately, despite a loyal fan base, Planters didn't focus much on marketing their candy products. and by the late 80s, the bar disappeared from store shelves. While it never achieved the fame of Reese's, those who tried it still remember it as a peanut lover's dream. Its disappearance is another reminder of how even great flavors can fade away without strong brand support. 6. Reggie. Bar in 1978, a unique candy bar hit the market, the Reggie bar. Named after baseball star Reggie Jackson, it was round and flat, filled with caramel and peanuts and covered in chocolate. Distributed by Standard Brands, the bar was heavily promoted as a tie-in with Reggie's fame. It became popular among baseball fans and children alike, and for a brief period, it seemed unstoppable. But as Reggie Jackson's career moved on and the novelty wore off, sales began to slump. By the mid-1980s, the Reggie bar was discontinued. Though it was reintroduced briefly in the 1990s, it never regained its original success. The Reggie bar remains a fascinating example of celebrity branding in candy, a sweet piece of sports and snack history. 7. Tart and Tinies introduced in the 1970s by Wonka. Tart and Tinies were small, colorful candies with a hard shell and a tangy flavor. They were like a cross between Nerds and Sprees, offering a crunchy, sweet, and sour experience. For kids, Tart and Tinies were a fun, addictive treat, often bought by the handful from candy shops or vending machines. In the 1980s, they were a playground staple. However, by the 1990s, sales dropped as other fruity candies took the spotlight. Wonka eventually discontinued them, though there have been attempts to revive the brand. Still, the original Tart and Tinies remain a nostalgic memory for those who grew up with their distinctive tangy crunch. 8. Powerhouse Bar. The Powerhouse Bar, introduced in the 1930s, lasted for decades before fading away in the late 1980s. Made with peanuts, fudge, caramel, and a chocolate coating, it was a dense and satisfying candy bar. Popular during the mid-20th century, it had a reputation as a filling, energy-packed treat, hence the name Powerhouse. For older generations, it was a classic choice, but by the 70s and 80s, it struggled to compete with flashier new candies. Marketing was minimal, and younger kids often overlooked it. By the time it disappeared, Powerhouse had become more of a nostalgic candy for parents than a favorite of children. Today, it's remembered as a sturdy, old-school candy bar that represented a different era of snacking. 9. 7-Up Bar, not to be confused with the soda. The 7-Up Bar was a unique candy introduced by Pearson's Candy Company. Each bar was divided into 7 small sections, each with a different filling ranging from caramel and coconut to fudge and jelly. This made it one of the most fun and surprising candies on the market. Kids loved breaking it apart to discover each flavor, and it offered variety in a single bar like no other. However, its complicated production made it expensive to manufacture, and by 1979 it was discontinued. The 7-Up Bar remains one of the most missed candies among collectors and candy lovers, remembered for its creativity and one-of-a-kind experience. 10. Banana Split Bar. The Banana Split Bar was a chewy, taffy-like candy with banana, strawberry, and chocolate flavors all swirled together to mimic the classic dessert. It was produced by Naco and became popular in the 70s and 80s, wrapped in colorful packaging. It was a fun and flavorful treat that stood out among other chewy candies. Kids loved its sweet, fruity taste and its connection to the beloved ice cream sundae. Unfortunately, like many of Naco's products, it eventually disappeared due to declining sales and company struggles. Today, it's remembered fondly by those who grew up with its playful flavor combination. The Banana Split Bar may be gone, but it lives on as part of the golden age of American candy. From the chewy caramel braids of the Marathon Bar, to the playful fruitiness of Bonkers, and the surprise-filled 7-Up Bar, these classic American candies remind us of a sweeter time. They weren't just snacks. They were experiences, moments of joy tucked into lunchboxes, corner stores, and after-school adventures. Though these candies have disappeared, their legacy lives on in the memories of those who enjoyed them. Each wrapper, each bite, was part of the culture of childhood. And while today's shelves may be filled with new creations, nothing can replace the magic of these lost treats. Which of these candies do you remember most? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more journeys into the foods of the past.